introducing, they say, a new property portal to help landlords understand their obligations, to give tenants performance information to hold their landlord to account. That's not a property portal in my view. This is, I think, and this is my view, this is a landlord register by the back door. So in other words, if you are putting all of your properties onto a database, if you are a landlord, then of course the landlord's name and the landlord's address is part of that property information. If they just want to know where 1 Acacia Avenue is, they can get that off multiple databases. What they can't do is find out who owns it. Once they know who owns that property, then, and I'd like to think this will be the case more than anything else, they can start educating landlords and pushing information to landlords. And then they will make that portal accessible. They're talking about local authorities having access to it, but of course tenants will have access to it. Now, what's the purpose of that? Well, let's look positively first of all. If you're looking to rent a property in, say, the middle of London, yeah, wouldn't it be lovely to go onto a portal to find out how many other properties around you are rented? Yeah, or how many, are you moving into a massive student area? Are you moving into an area where there's no facilities or no infrastructure? So I can see the real purpose of a portal for tenants to be able to get a lot more information about where their properties, where they're thinking of moving into, are based. Now, you can get a little bit off that often with Zoopla and Rightmove, but remember, Zoopla and Rightmove and the big portals only show properties that letting agents are advertising, and half the market, as we know, is private landlord driven. But it is going to require a lot of information about that particular landlord. Now, who's going to run that? Well, at the moment there's quite a lot of portals out there which local authorities run. Yeah, but actually my view is that this will be a countrywide portal which will be operated by a single supplier, and everyone will put there and be empowered by their letting agent. I'll come on to that later because there's a little bit about regulation of letting agents that are just creeping in here. But landlords will be required to register their properties and by default themselves onto a database. Where I think it will stop short, I don't think it will be about a Trustpilot style, is my landlord any good? Okay. I don't think it will go there. I don't think there'll be enforcement powers by a property portal operator, but of course redress schemes, ombudsmans, government, local authorities will have access to that portal as much as anyone else.
Because in Scotland you can be thrown off the Scottish Landlord Register, and technically and legally you're not supposed to therefore
same with Wales out. Yeah, same with Wales
and now. Same with Rent Smart Wales. Would we go down, do you think England's
I think this is what they're saying, this is where they're stopping short. I think that's a step too far for the government in England, I think. I'm reading into it. I think it's, let's put the properties on there, let's give more power back to the tenant to find out where they're living, what the quality of that property may be, who the landlord is sitting behind the scenes. But come on, 5 years down the line, you've got the data.
I think one question that everyone's wondering is the rent to rent conundrum is going to be somewhat what's the word, corrupted here, or the sort of model is going to be corrupted here, because you can't have landlord agent tenant on a register. It's gonna,
but the register, if it's set up in the right way, will be able to access probably, I would have thought, land registry. The technology these days of linking up multiple databases is a lot more simpler than it was. Will it solve the rent to rent market? I doubt it. Will it help? It will give more information to the tenant, to the landlord, to the letting agent, to whoever, to actually find some information out, whereas at the moment the rent to rent market is very wild westy.
Yes. And I guess the advantage would be that if you were renting off a rent-to-rent, quite often people don't even realise that's what they're doing, but they would go on and it would be clear on the portal that there's something was not quite as normal.
My view was that eventually this portal will be able to give a lot of information. Using that information powers to stop people trading in the market or renting out properties in the market. That's a next logical step. But I don't want to cause panic out there. Ultimately, the way these legislative things work is that it's announced in the Queen's speech. It will be laid down within the next 12 months as legislation. The implementation of these initiatives might take longer as procurements go out to find operators. The detail in what data is going to be required, the GDPR issues, that will all take a lot longer. But it's the direction of travel. But I don't think we should be frightened of it. We just need to make sure it's implemented in the right way.